It seems like the UFC is destroying their own UFC 300 main event possibilities. But what possibilities are left for the UFC 300 main event? Let's discuss it in this video, guys. Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Salam alaikum, my brother.
UFC 100, UFC 200, and now UFC 300, those 100 cards are normally always there to have the craziest fight card, biggest, baddest, like Dana calls it, fight card you could possibly make. For that, you want a badass main event. The main event is the most important thing about the whole card. Because of course, all the fights underneath should be amazing as well. But if your main event is not a wow type of fight that catches the attention of every casual fan, you lose a lot of pay-per-view buys. So right now, I can give you a quick briefing on how it stands with the main event possibilities. You obviously want the main event to be a title fight, right? Unless it will be Conor against Chandler, that would be the only option for a non-title fight being a valid main event. But that option is out of the window. It's June 29th, International Fight Week, 185 pounds.
185 pounds.
So, let's go through the divisions. Flyweight, Alexandre Pantoja just fought in December. He will not fight again at UFC 300. Even if he would fight, he would not be the main event for sure. Flyweight, hell nah.
Too small, too small.
Then, featherweight division. Volkanovski fights Topuria pretty soon, so the turnaround possibilities, I mean, if Topuria wins quick, you could maybe fight Holloway on 300, but that's also not a main event, and the UFC is not waiting for weird possibilities. You know what I mean? They want something stable that will be 100% secure for 300, so no. Lightweight, I thought about this a lot, but Islam said several times he will not train during Ramadan. And Ramadan is right before UFC 300. So you can forget that Islam will fight at UFC 300. So you can throw that out of the window as well. Of course, you say, yeah, you could make Justin Gaethje against, I don't know, whoever for a BMF. That's not a main event. So lightweight division out.
Get the fuck out of here!
Welterweight division. Most definitely Leon Edwards will fight at UFC 300 and most definitely against Belal Muhammad. Now, the problem with that is, because you could say, there it is, our main event. Let's be completely honest here. Let's be completely honest. Is Leon Edwards versus Belal or against Shafkat, is that a UFC 300 main event? It is just not. It's not. UFC 300 main events were John Jones versus DC, Brock Lesnar versus Mark Hunt, stuff like that. Monumental, crazy fights. Leon Edwards is not an interesting champion for the casual fan. Leon Edwards has like one finish in the last several years and continues to live on that finish with the headshot, that chance, trying to make people forget that he's normally a decision monster. Belal is the biggest decision monster in UFC history. No one is interested in that as a UFC 300 main event other than maybe Birmingham and I don't know, Dagestan. Even though Belal's not from Dagestan, but he trains there. Anyways, so this is not a main event for me. This is a co-main. So then let's go up a weight division, middleweight. You have Sean Strickland, who could be a main event for 300 just because of his stardom and stuff, but he's fighting Dricus du Plessis pretty soon. So the problem there is, first of all, you don't know who wins. Second of all, the UFC, as I said, they're smart. They don't plan on possibilities. They're not planning on, oh, let's wait if Strickland, du Plessis, whoever wins, hopefully they come out uninjured so then they could maybe make a quick turnaround. No. You don't know how the winner of the fight will come out of the fight, if he'll be injured, whatever, blah, 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 this and that. 2 months later fighting again, or 3 months later fighting again in another main event is pretty tough, especially, as I said, with injuries and all those things who are always a factor in a fight, especially if it's a war. So, nah, forget that. Then, the two only possible divisions are light heavyweight and heavyweight. And there we have a little problem as well, because Is it possible that Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill would be the main event? Yes, possibly it would be possible. Possible.
English, change your language.
Pereira could, as far as we know, fight UFC 300. I haven't heard anything about injuries, whatever. Jamal Hill, I am not sure how his recovery stands. Yeah, I haven't really heard much of him lately. It would be an acceptable main event, even though we have to say it just wouldn't give me that UFC 300 feeling. It wouldn't give me that John Jones DC feeling, you know what I mean? It would be acceptable though, especially if the card is filled otherwise. So okay, maybe Izzy fights Pereira, even though I don't think that makes a lot of sense, Izzy fighting Pereira at light heavyweight. But hey, that will definitely be a possibility for a UFC 300 main event, because Izzy and Pereira are both big stars. And the only other fight that is a possibility for the main event involves Pereira again, so they kind of need Pereira.
We need the aliens.
Is against Aspinall. Even though I think this fight makes no sense, I think Aspinall just smokes him. But Aspinall said he's down and ready, Pereira said he's down and ready, so that it kind of would make sense, and that would be a real main event for 300 because it's like a super fight. You know what I mean? That sounds like a super fight to me. Because Pereira has the chance then to be the first ever 3-division UFC champion, of course not simultaneous, but still. So the only 2 possibilities for me, or 3, are Pereira Izzy, Pereira Jamal, or Pereira Aspinall. And Pereira Aspinall, I don't think the UFC wants that. It's a weird fight. Pereira Izzy, the UFC wants that in terms of pay-per-view sellings and everything, in terms of the whole history and stuff. I don't know how much the fans want it. I'm interested. It's a fight that I always would watch, but it's not like I need it right now. Like, I want some fresh matchups. And Jamal Hill against Pereira is a phenomenal matchup, in my opinion. I just don't know how much the casuals will be invested in it. And the main event is always for the casuals to sell a card. Because you sold the UFC 300 card already for me if you announced Dustin Poirier against Benoit Saint-Denis. You have Bo Pickle fighting on there. You have Leon Edwards against Belal. Like, all those fights, I'm already sold.
Is he f***ing awesome?
But you have to sell the casuals. And I'm not sure if Pereira against Jamal Hill will really sell that good to the casuals. But we shall see. But these are really the only possibilities that are there right now. If there will be a super fight, okay, if Nick Diaz fights GSP, if Jorge Masvidal fights Ben Askren, those are all cool fights. I would be down to watch it, but those are not main events. Those are like below Belal and Edwards somewhere on the main card. Would be cool. Dana said they're working on something, but that's not a main event. So write your opinion in the comments, guys. Who do you think will be the main event for UFC 300? What options are left? Did I miss something? Write all in the comments, guys. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel. Would appreciate that. And that you can be the main event of UFC 300. Make sure to get your sleep in. Until the next one, bye-bye. Velocity Sport.